Hello, fellow students, wherever you are. Thank you so much for joining me on the latest episode of The Mature Student here on YouTube. Now, before I start, I need to make an appeal. You see, there are lots of people out there that may be suffering in silence as a mature student. I met a couple of people this week, and I can tell you there are people out there that they've taken that brave move to return to study after 20, sometimes 30, or even 35 years. And they feel a little bit lost because most of their cohort are younger. Most of them are people of an age where they understand the technology, the terminology, and the brain's a little bit faster. But that doesn't mean, as a mature student, that we can't do it. We have something to give to the world. You have experience. You have a lot of knowledge you need to tap into. But sometimes you need a little bit of support. So, my appeal to you is, please share this channel, like the videos or not if you don't, but also comment. Tell me what else you want to know about. There are so many subjects that affect mature students. And certainly subscribe to this channel, please. It will help us a lot. We want our own name on YouTube, but we can't do that without getting 100 likes first. So please like this channel if you do like it. So today, what are we talking about? Well, we're talking about time again. Now, I have covered this before, but I'm coming from a slightly different angle. And if you want to see the first bit on time management, then the link will be below. So, are you wasting your time? Now, that's not a question that's facetious. That's actually a question that we have to ask ourselves and maybe reflect on. And it takes time to know exactly where our time is going. So sometimes we need to put everything down and we need to take stock of where our time is going. So, are you wasting your time? Now, the first thing about time is our mindset, because I find, I don't know about you, but sometimes I am talking to myself and I have to actually slap myself sometimes and think, actually, what you're saying to yourself is quite negative. So that's the first point. Changing your mindset to positive rather than negative is so important. You know, you take up so much time thinking about all the negative things that can happen that you don't think about the positive stuff as well. Now, what I found has really helped me recently is jotting down a little journal. In my discipline, we have been taught to reflect. We call it theological reflection, and you might call it something else in your own sphere. I met somebody who, for instance, who's doing child development, and they definitely have to do reflective practice, and the same with medical field. So, whatever field you're in, and whether you do it or not, is actually a really good idea. How did you react? How did you feel about it? And what could you do differently that will give better results? Changing your mindset is so important. Change your mind, you change your world. But interestingly, having the wrong mindset could waste your time. So take that on board, get a journal, and write down some of the things that you're thinking about. It doesn't have to be in a formal way, and it's just for you, but you need to think about what happened and how could I respond to it differently to get a more positive effect. So that's number one, change your mindset. Number two, now, I saw somebody the other day who was trying to meet a deadline, which is in about 5 days, looking at all the books, getting all the information from the books while trying to type it, while trying to digest it. just does not work. Trust me, I've done it that way. When I was in my first year, those were the sorts of mistakes I made. And as a result, my marks weren't as high as they should have been. So here's the thing. If you want to study efficiently and not waste your time, you need to stop doing that. What you need to do is to read the text, take notes of key things that you want to glean from that particular text or book or journal or whatever you're reading, and then start to formulate your essay or if it's your dissertation under headings. That's the much more efficient way of doing it. It means that you are able to track yourself much easier by making sure that you've got notes in the right place, in the right category. So you don't need to be multitasking, reading a book and then typing a bit, and then reading a book and typing a bit. It really doesn't work. Try it this way. Make sure that you've got your notes from the reading that you've done, and then organize it under categories that you've already decided. That's headings. Yes? So that's number two. And that will stop you wasting your time. Keep calm and find yourself a mentor. Yes, easier said than done. If you're doing a dissertation and you're in your undergraduate year 3, then you would have a supervisor. But I'm not talking about a supervisor. I'm talking about somebody that's independent of a supervisor, and that's a mentor. Now, that could be a formal or informal mentor, depending on your situation. For instance, you might want to pay for a mentor to speak to maybe every 4 weeks or so, just to keep you on track. But you may have somebody who's been there and, as the old adage says, has worn the t shirt and can help you through some of the psychological um, thought processes that you go through when you're studying and changing your life in some way. And that could be somebody who's either studied themselves, or even if they haven't, they could be somebody, a sensible friend that you can turn to every now and again to check and balance and keep it real with you. And that will really help you. I met somebody the other day, a man, who said, well, I want to just get on with things on my own and do it. But he's struggling. And there is no point in sitting there and doing things on your own when you've come this far, you've paid your fees, you're sacrificing your time, perhaps your social life, to do your studies to get good marks. But the missing factor is the people factor, relating to somebody who can perhaps help you through or see things from a different angle. So keep calm and find yourself a mentor. So those are the 3 points I wanted to make with you today. Now, this is the Mature Student channel on YouTube. And as I said at the beginning, please can you like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. But also, please kindly share this with a fellow student that they can benefit too. That's it for now, but watch out in another week for another episode of The Mature Student. Thank you for listening.